Hey, what's going on guys? It's White Gaming, back again with some more Icarus. And today we have the Icarus Week 8 content update. This one is pretty damn good. There's a lot of updates, game balances, and performance optimizations. There is no content update today, but it seems like there's a lot of good stuff. Now, if you're a fan of Icarus and survival games in general, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to help the channel a little bit further, check out the members down below. It is 99p a month, it gets you a funky set of emojis, and it helps you support us a little bit. So, massive thank you to anybody that checks that out. Now, this one is pretty damn good. There's a lot of good stuff in this update, a lot of very much requested stuff from the community, and some rather large bug fixes. Now, our focus this week is on updating the Icarus map, along with several gameplay balance changes. This includes a whole bunch of much requested fixes, ranging from fish and mushroom availability to optimizing performance-heavy environment assets. Several holes in the map have been patched up, and most issues with collision volumes on rocks in caves being bigger than the rock itself should now be fixed, removing frustrating instances where some mineral deposits could not be mined, plus there are now voxels in caves for you to mine. Now that is very, very good. I like that a lot. It's going to help us, especially with those longer missions, like the one we did with the Payday extraction mission, where you have to get, obviously, a lot of stuff together to build a fabricator and all that kind of stuff. So, luckily, that's going to be nice with a big, big change there. Now, while we typically just talk about what's included in each week's update, I would like to take a moment to address some of the most common issues raised on our feature upvote page, and some updates that you can expect to see in the coming weeks. Now, if you haven't checked the feature upvote page, the link is in the description below. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, which you can check out and pretty much put the world to rights and let people know what you'd like to see in the game. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And whilst we look at reports from feature upvote every week to see what the most common issues are and prioritize our dev work accordingly. While fixes don't always make it into these weekly updates immediately, it doesn't mean they're being ignored. Sometimes reworking features and testing can take several weeks before we can share it with you. There is a common misconception that our intro video is not skippable. It's actually a loading screen. Whilst it plays, the game is also loading in the background. Once the loading is complete, you can skip the video by pressing any key. On slower machines, this may take some time, but on modern SSDs, it may only take a few seconds. See, I didn't know that was a loading screen. That's very, very cool. I like that. I can't believe it. I didn't know that before. I just thought it was a random intro that you couldn't skip. Obviously, I can skip it, but it depends what I'm doing. Normally, I'm doing something else on the PC whilst it's loading, so I just leave it to it, and then when I've done, I'll press the button and it will skip. But I can't skip it instantly. So I'm glad to know there's a reason behind that. We've added a text notification that once loading is complete, so you'll know that you can press any key to skip. In the future, we plan to add an auto skip option to the settings screen as well. Very cool, very cool. Next up is resource balancing. The session-based gameplay of Icarus presents many design challenges compared to traditional survival games. Instead of engaging with tiers of content just once, players restart their progress dozens of times. So we've aimed to avoid the arbitrary time for syncs or item syncs. Finding the right balance between resource availability, ease of collection, processing time, and resource requirements can be challenging, especially at higher tiers when recipes have much more complex resource chains. We've listened to the player feedback about tier 3 and 4 pacing, and how it can feel like a grind. In this patch, we are starting the first steps to ensuring that resources are properly distributed throughout the entirety of the map to alleviate this. Most small and medium caves have had their voxel counts increased to ensure that players are rewarded for seeking out and harvesting new caves. Several new caves have been added to the Riverlands, with dozens more coming across the rest of the map in the coming weeks. Now that is very good. This is something that I've touched on a lot in my videos and things that I don't really like about the game, and that is the later grind. So when you get to tier 3 or 4 and you are doing those harder missions, sometimes I want to get in and I want to have fun and do what I want to do, but then other times it takes 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 hours to actually get one item built for that later mission, which I don't mind as much, but the fact that if you want to do those longer missions, you have to repeat that same step and it takes hours every single time. I'd like that to be just, even if it was maybe 3 or 4 hours rather than the 8 hours. I mean, Payday Extraction I think took us around 11 hours to actually go and get everything that we needed to get and build it all. because we just kept running out of resources in the caves, so we had to go to further caves. And then, obviously, once you've done those caves, you have to keep going and spreading further and further out. And before I knew it, I was heading 6, 7, 8 grids away from my original base location. So it was quite a grindy mission. It was an enjoyable mission because I'd not done it before, but I wouldn't want to do it again. And I want the missions to entice me to think, that was fun, that was cool, I want to do that again. So, sorry. Hopefully with that will change a little bit. We've also decided to spread out the electronics requirements of the fabricator and material processor to other machines in Tier 4, so that players aren't front-loaded with gold requirements and can engage with the content more slowly over time. The electric carpentry bench, electric masonry bench, and material processor and chemistry bench have all had their recipes expanded. This has started to become points of consolidation for crafting recipes from lower tiers. These changes are just the beginning. Expect further balance iterations as we monitor the impact on your gameplay. Very nice. I like that a lot. Now, this one is something that I am very, very, very happy with. And the one after this, to be honest. But this is by far the most talked about suggestion among our player community, and is a big discussion topic internally within the Rocketworks team too. Currently, you have a limited number of talent points and stop earning new ones after you reach level 40. While you can specialise in particular talent trees, you can't change your mind or try new strategies without a new character. We do intend to provide some way to respec or change how you have spent talent points at some stage, but it could have widespread consequences if not done right. The specifics of exactly where it slots into the game are still at the design stage, so please continue to be patient. Once news is available, we'll definitely be loud about it. Very good. As much as I want a respec, I also want a much higher talent point limit, because there's so many things that I haven't done, and I don't want to have to create 7 or 8 characters to try every different path. I want to be able to try lots of different things on one character and see how things work well together. Because to max out 1 or 2 skill trees, that's most of your points gone. I'd like to be able to max out quite a few and mix and match and see how different trees work well together. But we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they do add more points. I think maybe 80 would be a good point there. I think 80 could be enough, because some of the skills require 2, 3 or even 4 points just to get them to the max. So I've invested a lot into my scavenging and into my bow skills because I use them quite a lot. So being able to invest more in the food and the skinning of animals and things like that could be quite beneficial. But we'll see what they do there. Next up, inventory sorting. Yes, finally. This is another popular request that we're currently testing internally. We're testing out which criteria would be most useful, like sorting by name or weight, and this will be available in a future update. I'd like just an inventory, like on 7 Days to Die, where you press the button and it moves everything up. All split stacks get put into the stack that their maximum attributes will allow. So if there's, we've got fiber, for example. Sometimes when you craft something, it leaves you with 98 of one and 104 of the other. I'd like that to be pushed into one 200 stack and then a 2 stack. But we'll see what happens. Something very cool, which is everybody wants this one. Our plan to tackle this request is to add an entire new slot to your character inventory. This will allow you to, among other things, attach a lantern to your belt. Ideal for mining caves or at night. So that way you can hold a weapon and you've got light. Brilliant. That's what we need at the moment. A lot of us are either placing fires in caves or dropping wooden torch on the floor whilst we continue to do what we want to do. Hopefully that changes pretty damn soon, but we shall see. So for the next point, this is armor blocking the camera. Thank God. Thank God. Oh. Sometimes, like when you die whilst aiming or crouching, the character rig can get stuck into a state where armor pieces block your view. We're updating character animation processes which will address many of these cases and let us audit all the armor sets to play nicely. Brilliant. I like that. Now, changelog. Many topics discussed above are works in progress, but there are details of what is included in this week's patch. A large number of map fixes, cave updates, balance changes, and performance optimizations. Now, this is quite a large chunk of patch notes, so if you want to skip this bit, fair enough, I understand. Let's go through it. Added crops to outposts, added mushrooms to Arctic caves, increased quantity of mineral deposits in many caves to increase overall availability of resources, added first pass of new cave locations, Crafted new recipe for tier 4 crafting benches, including electric carpentry. So all new stuff there, which combined multiple lower tier recipes into new machines. Okay. Fixed crafting bench recipes not properly accounting for stats, which reduce resource costs. Added several recipes to the carpentry bench that fit into the theme of home construction from the crafting table and player crafting. Increased crafting queue from 5 to 10 entries on several tier 4 benches. Decreased the cost of early tier 4 bench recipes. So decreased fabricator for electronics 60 to 30. Remove steel ingot requirement. Change material processor from 80 to 60. Increased electronics cost of electrical masonry bench, carpentry bench, and chemistry bench to 20, and minor other changes to secondary resources and T4 machine recipes. Added new alternate recipes for composite paste, which can substitute gold requirements with platinum. Very cool. I like that. I get a lot of platinum, but not a lot of gold, so that's good. Reduced player crafting speed to be more in line with benches. Decreased crafting speed of stone and concrete building pieces. Decreased crafting speed of mortar and pestle. Herbalism bench. Nice. Added text to indicate when loading is complete, and the new intro video is now skippable. Fixed issues where bosses can sometimes not spawn in broken arrow recovery. Fixed several gaps in terrain. Moved wild squash plants from the forest to the desert biome. Oh, okay. Removed some instances and trees placed inside mountains. Fixed issues where rivers could flicker in certain lighting conditions. Fixed issues with problematic dropship locations. Several caves that were missing resource deposits and other cave functionality. Fixed caves not using their biome appropriate assets. Fixed visual issue caused by ambient occultation on foliage at certain distances. I'm pretty sure I know what that is. Improved both visual and performance on rock assets. Improved performance on Triplana shader. Don't know what that is, but they've improved it. Yeah, can't complain. Fixed issue causing players to incorrectly be flagged as inside caves at specific locations. Improved performance of desert rocks. Fixed issues preventing fish from spawning correctly in many water bodies. Oh, okay, that's good. I thought a lot of the little rivers were not meant to have fish, but apparently not. Added more sand to the desert. Improved visuals of distant terrain on outposts. Improved shadow performance in caves, and improved collision for some cave rocks to reduce instances where players could not reach the entirety of some mineral deposits. And improve performance of in-game map screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, for today, that is all that we have. But it's good news. A lot of things have changed, and it looks like we're going to be getting some pretty cool features in the future, which I'm very happy with. Very, very happy with. Luckily, though, it's going to be nice to be able to see a lot of minerals now in caves. It's going to make things go a little bit quicker. Hopefully, we'll be able to craft different items a lot faster now. But we shall see. We shall see. For today, though, that is it from me. I have been Wired, and you have been awesome. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.